Hey everybody, Whitney with Girl Friday Crafts. I haven't streamed live to YouTube in a while, so I'm just checking to make sure that I'm actually live on YouTube like I'm supposed to be. Here's hoping. Hey, I'm live. And y'all can hear me. I'm so excited. It's actually working the way it's supposed to. My monitors are messed up on my side. So monitors here and I'm looking here. But anyway, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me on this Friday afternoon. And if you are already thinking about your holiday and gifting season, I've got you covered. We are ready to rock and roll with some easy gifts that you can make now, will not take up a whole lot of space, to hold on to lots of variety for all of your gift giving. And you won't believe how easy and cute these things are. So we are going to get started. What am I going to do? I am going to do that because you don't really need to see me. You just need to see my workspace. And I'm going to grab a couple of examples of some things that we are going to be doing today. Get myself situated here in the screen. There we go. So I made a couple of these the other day, and I thought they were just so cute that I wanted to come on and do a live and show you how I made them. So I've got 3 that are holiday related. So we've got that one. We've got this one with the little snowflake on it. And I think this one's my favorite just because I love this particular color. We've got this with the red. And then if you are looking for something that is evergreen, not necessarily seasonal, we've got this one, says the moon made me do it. So we're going to do a non-seasonal one today as well. And I'm going to show you 2 different types of notebooks that will give you some different price points depending on what kind of gift giving you're doing. And if you're, trying to do something that you can look at in bulk, where you might need a little bit of a lower price point, as opposed to maybe something that you're only going to do for 1 or 2 people. Sorry about the noise. And can have a little bit of a lower price point. Okay, I can see. All right. I'm trying to watch myself too. So your 2 notebook options, or the ones that I work off of, are this. We've got this hardbound Chalk Couture spiral notebook. So we're going to make something with this today, which is, like I said, this is a higher price point. Did I lose my live feed? Oh, there we go. This is a little bit of a higher price point because it is hard-sided, but it's a very nice, material is not the right word. It's got a very nice feel to it. But it's not lined. So that, if that matters to you, that is something to take into consideration. I think these are around $12. I should have looked that up ahead of time. I will look that up. But then you've also got these. So I got these off Amazon. They come 6 to a pack. And these are soft-sided, but they're very sturdy. And they hold up really well. And these are lined. So if that matters to you or matters to the person that you're gifting to, then you've got this option. And I think at the 6 to a pack, these break out to about $3 a piece. And there's 6 different colors in the pack. And so we've got this color, we've got green and red and black, and there is this shade of blue. And then we've got, there's a more orange kind of color that instead of the peach. So we're going to do some holiday ones with that. We're going to do an evergreen one on the chalk notebook and an evergreen one on that peachy little color. So let me know in the comments, either in the chat if you're watching me live, or in the comments if you're watching this later. Have you started your holiday crafting? Are you still in summer and fall mode? Are you in Halloween mode? Have you started thinking about holiday gift giving if you do that? Or are you just like, how is it July, what is today, 18th already? I don't understand what is happening to my life right now, which I can completely relate to. On an unrelated note, these bags that the notebooks come in, both the chalk and the Amazon ones, are super handy for other things. I've been using them for pieces of from a paper crafting kit to kind of keep all of my cutout pieces together. So hold on to these because they're very nice. I mean, they are sticky to seal. They don't have a zipper, but I was putting something together the other day and I needed to containerize all of my little pieces, and I happened to have one of those handy, and I was like, oh, look at that. That is just too perfect. Okay, so we're going to start with the chalk hard-sided notebook, and I am going to use a transfer from our Chalk After Dark line, and I want a different color for that. So let's see. I want a shimmery, bright something or other that's going to pop on in that really well. Let's go with, where's my shimmer watermelon? That's going to be a great color for that. If I can find it, it should be in here. Maybe I have it in the pinks. I've just reorganized all of my paste colors, and oh, there it is. And I'm trying to figure out what drawers I put them in. So we're going to use some shimmer watermelon, and then I need to get my fuzzing cloth. My apologies, my friends. I was not fully prepared. 11:30 got here sooner than I anticipated today. But that's okay, because if you are a crafter, or even if you're not, you know, because it's just life. So we're going to do the get shit done. I'm actually going to get some pucker as well. No, I have not been able to use that. I want to do these stars in a different color. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to fuzz this transfer. So if you have watched me before, or if you have watched another Chalk Couture designer before, you know what this is. If not, then I will walk you through it. So Chalk Couture transfers are sticky on the back, and they're like a stencil, but there is mesh in this negative space. And that sticky on the back helps you keep your transfer in place while you are applying your paste or ink if you're doing a textile project. We fuzz it a little bit to make it ever so slightly less sticky, so that when you pull this up off your surface, it doesn't pull any of your paste up with it. Or if you are chalking on a painted surface, so that it doesn't pull any of that paint up. And we're going to get a couple squeegees, and I am going to do this in what is called a paste and peel technique. So we're going to apply our paste. We're going to lift up that transfer a little bit. Put it back down. And then apply the rest of our paste. Actually, I might not need to do that with this because I'm going to be able to move pretty quickly here. I'm using what is called a detail tool on these stars because they're tiny. And I want to try and make sure that I don't get any of this nominee where I don't want it. And this little tool helps me do that. It's one of my favorites. That's why I have like 4 of them because I use them all the time. And when this is part of what goes when I get new club or Perks customers, they get some of these tools from me, like a detail tool or a multi-tool. So this is the multi-tool, has a little bit bigger of a squeegee tip, but like the detail tool, you can hold it like a pencil, which gives you some good control and will help me avoid those stars so I don't mix any gold in with my shimmer watermelon. Not that that's the end of the world. And we are going to do one of these notebooks in what we call a hot mess technique. It's one of my favorite ways for mixing colors together. And then it doesn't matter where your colors go because they're all getting mixed together. We are going to pull this up a little bit. The other thing I like about this detail tool is it has this pointy end, which helps you get a corner of your surface so that you can pull it up easily. Now the transfers do stick to these notebooks pretty well. If you are familiar with chalk at all, you might be familiar with what is our chalk suede paper. And this notebook cover is very similar, to that chalk suede paper. So I lifted that up. And we're just going to push some of this back down here, and I'm going to lift up this other side just enough to come up off those stars a little bit. This chalk paste tends to dry pretty quickly, and what you don't want to have happen is your paste to dry while you're still working on your project, because then you might have some of that paste come up with your transfer. So that is what I just did, is what we call a paste and peel. So you paste a little bit, and then you lift your transfer up some, and then you just let it drop. You don't have to like force it back down or anything like that. and then you do more, and then you just work until you're finished. And since I already have part of this up, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to rock it back and forth a little bit. This helps keep you from stretching your transfer so you don't pull it too much. Try not to do what I just did. And then we just got this one little piece left. Hope everybody's doing good this afternoon. Let me know how you are. Let me know what you've got going on this weekend. Thanks for hopping on and watching. So we're doing just one evergreen design on these notebooks that you could use for a gift. And then I'm going to do a couple holiday ones, and then we're going to do another evergreen design. I think these are fabulous gifts. They're super easy. If you've got friends who are list makers or journalers, I think these are great for that. They'd even be good for little kids. You could, get really cute designs on there for young kids or college student who needs like a planner type of thing or a notebook for a class. So there's that. And then I have water over to my left here that I drop my transfers and my tools in when I'm finished. My goodness, it's been 16 minutes already. Thought I was going to be on for like 30 minutes and get like 3 or 4 of these done. I'm slow and I talk too much. Well, maybe not too much, but I talk. Chatter. Okay, so there's our first one. And again, this is the Chalk Couture hard side notebook, and I'll put a link to this in the video description. And this is an unlined notebook. So that's one option. We're going to set that aside. And then we're going to do a Christmas notebook. With this red, and again, these are the ones from Amazon, so these are soft-sided, but this is a nice sturdy cover, and they're lined. Kind of easy to tell which is the right side up. So also very nice. I think I said these end up being about $3 a piece because you have they come in a pack of 6. I've got white paint on my mat here, and it's flaking as it dries. I need to clean this. So we're going to use, this is actually a transfer set from last year. There is a new one out. I thought I had it. I thought I ordered it with my autumn collection order. And I couldn't put my hands on it. I'm in the middle of a reorganization of my craft space. And it's not where it should be. But there's a new one called Christmas Delivery. So it's very similar to this one from last year. This one's called Holiday Stamps. And it's all these little vintage Christmas looking holiday winter postage stamp designs. And this was a C-size transfer, and I've cut it all apart. The holiday delivery or Christmas delivery is a B-size transfer, so you can, do the same thing. So I'm going to use this one, this December 25th. This to me is going to be good, and I'm probably going to use one of these for myself for my holiday planner. Because you can get those little sticky tabs and create some tabs for yourself, so you can make, a section for your gift list and your card list and your menu planning and that sort of thing. And actually the black or the orange one, if you do a lot for Halloween and Thanksgiving, the black or the orange one would be really cute if you need something to keep track of your Halloween and Thanksgiving planning as well. If you throw a big party or have a lot of people over or do, multiple Halloween or Thanksgiving kinds of events, that would be good too. So we're going to use a detail tool again just to go around the edges here so that I don't get any paste on the notebook. And we're going to use my Shimmer Frost, which I love for holiday. It's also great for Halloween or winter. It's just what it sounds like. It's just a white, shimmery paste. And it just adds that little something extra as opposed to just a plain white or even vanilla or do. I make t-shirts with heat transfer vinyl, and I always prefer to use glitter vinyl. I mean, maybe not for the whole design, but I like to throw a little bit of glitter vinyl into a design. And to me, our chalk shimmer pastes are the equivalent of using glitter heat transfer vinyl. So I'm always looking to add a little bit of a shimmer into a design. So now that I have gotten those edges really well, I can move on to using a regular squeegee because I've got more room now between the transfer and the edge of the notebook. Now these do, if you get ink on the notebook itself, if you just grab a paper towel and get a little bit of water on it, it'll wipe off. I've done that a couple of times actually. So it does wipe off. The faster you can get to it before it dries, the easier it is. It'll still come off if it's dry. It just takes a little bit of muscle. I do not know if you could get an entire dried design off of one of these. I've not tried that. So if you'd like to use a color and decide that once it's done that you don't like it, could you wipe it all off entirely and start over? I'm not sure. If anybody tries that, let me know. And if I try it, it would be worth trying to know for sure. So if I try it, I will let you all know. On that, and use my little tool here. Now these, the transfer comes up a little bit easier than on the chalk notebook because it's a different kind of surface. So I had, if you can see it, a little bit of bubbling there. It looked like once I started putting the paste on, it looked like my transfer wasn't necessarily all the way adhered. So I might try to fix it when it dries, or what I could do when that dries is I could just add a little sticker right on top of that, a little holly, or a little Santa Claus or whatever I've got to cover that up if I really wanted to. I mean, if I keep this for myself, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. But again, when we're thinking about gift giving, we like for things to be as perfect as possible. Now, I don't believe that people who are the recipient of handmade gifts are that picky. I think they appreciate the gesture, but I understand the desire to make it look as nice as possible. So that's how I am. And I'm wondering how my volume is because my microphone's quite, it's That's okay. But I've got all these things sticking right in front of my microphone. So we're going to move this a little bit closer. Hopefully that'll be a little bit better. Okay. Let's see. How long have I been on? Okay, we are going to do another evergreen design so I can show you Hot Mess, because I want to show you the various techniques. So as you're thinking about this, and if you're thinking about this for a gift giving kind of project, I want you to be able to kind of think about all of the various options, whether it's a holiday design or an evergreen design. So we're going to do another evergreen design in the Hot Mess technique. So this transfer is called Brilliant Ideas, and I'm going to use this Brilliant Ideas I had while drinking because I think it's funny. And I think that would be funny on the front of a notebook. We're going to put it on this peach colored notebook. Let's see, what colors do I want? We can use Nominee, and we can use the Shimmer Frost. We can also use Shimmer Frost and Pucker, which would be cute to grab my pucker. And so we're just fuzzing this transfer like I did earlier. This is a brand new one, and I've not used it before. So I'm going to just fuzz it a little bit and get this positioned on the notebook. Probably right about there. This one I might grab my ruler just to see. I don't want to cut this transfer apart. I used to do that. I've gotten away from doing that, and I try as much as possible to keep them together if I can. The larger ones, obviously, it's harder to do. But these small A size that have different designs on it, I try to keep them. Oh, that is nowhere close to the middle. Sometimes I have to stand up when I'm trying to do that. Because when you're sitting and you're looking at it, that's not going to be any better. When you're sitting down and you're looking at it, it's not, you can't really see as well. All right, how far across is this? These are about a little over 5 wide, so the middle is going to be a little bit past 2.5. I'm usually not this picky. If you all have watched me before, you know I usually do not try to measure. It's just no. But again, since we're talking about gift giving today, okay, that's better. I'm not going to try to center it top to bottom because I don't think that really matters very much. So we're going to use the Shimmer Frost, and then I'm going to grab my pucker, and then I am also going to grab some Glacier because I think this light blue will look pretty. And I'm going to need a baby wipe. So for Hot Mess, you're going to want you can do as many colors as you want. The smaller the design, I think you should use fewer colors, and you'll see why. So if you're doing a small design like this, I would say 2 to 3 colors max. If you're doing a larger, as the design gets larger, you can, go up in the number of colors that you use. And I'm going to use some of our transfer tape to mask this off. And again, you'll see why. Leave that lifted a little bit to make it easier to get the tape off. And then you're going to want baby wipes or Clorox wipes, something that you, or a wet paper towel, something that you can wipe your fingers off with. So what we're going to do is we're going to start adding dots of color onto our design. And if there is a color you want to be predominant, you want to put more dots of that color than any other. I don't really care one way or the other. So I'm going to start with Glacier, and then we'll add the pucker, and then I'll do the Shimmer Frost last. And you can always go back and add more dots of a certain color if you want to after you get them all on there. And then the baby wipe or the Clorox wipe is for cleaning your fingers in between so that you don't contaminate your colors. How's everybody doing this afternoon? I hope you all are well. I really appreciate people joining me on a Friday afternoon. I haven't been live on YouTube in a while, but I have honestly, with my schedule, been struggling a bit with getting videos recorded and posted. And so I decided this week that it would just be easier to just go live, because then I know I've got content up, and if I want to go back and edit the live video later, I can, but then I'm here and I'm creating for you, and that is what I wanted. So we're going to try live for a little bit and see if I can stick to a live schedule, or occasionally it might be pre-recorded, occasionally it might be live, just depending on life. But I'm excited to be back live. I like live. I don't know. I do better with live. I think when I'm recording, I don't feel like I'm really talking to people, even though I am, because they're going to watch the video. But something about being live. Once you've got all of your dots on there, then you're just going to start mixing them together. So you're just going to start making the circles bigger. And you don't want to do too much. If your color starts to turn brown, you are mixing too much, because then you're really not going to be able to see the distinction of the colors in your design when you're finished. Okay. We are having a new home security system put in right now, so if you can hear voices behind me or in the background, that is what you hear my husband and the technician. And so once you have all of your colors blended together and you know that you have all of your negative space covered, you're going to take a squeegee and you're going to squeegee off the excess. Now for hot mess, you're going to put that excess, you can either wipe the excess off with your baby wipe. I put it in a color tray and try to have a small project at the ready that I can use that color for. Get all of that excess off, and I'll show you what I will do. I won't do it live because I need to let this dry, but I'll show you what I'm going to do with that excess too. And then I'm going to get maybe the transfer tape off of here first, because it's easier to do that while the transfer is still on the surface. And then we're going to lift up our transfer very slowly. I love the reveal. It's my absolute favorite part. And then here you've got this. It's also called a marbling technique. I like hot mess better. I think it sounds more like me. So you've got that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let this dry. And then I've got this transfer. It's called Handmade By, and it's got all these little things that you can put on handmade gifts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to use one of these on the back. Either probably this Made with Love, or probably this Made with Love. And then I'm going to use that remaining hot mess excess that I squeegeed off to put that on there. So that's another sort of evergreen idea. And you can use a half of a B-size transfer will fit on one of these notebooks. So if you have, let me show you real quick. I have a notebook that I made at my vendor space right now. But I have a design from one of our, I think it's in here. Oh, here it is. This is one of the transfers from the Tiffany Thiessen collection, and I have this on a notebook that's at my vendor space. So I just kind of lined it up like that and then just chalked the whole entire area that would cover the notebook. So if there's a B-size pattern transfer that you have or that you see that you like, you can fit it on one of these notebooks relatively easily. Okay, so I'm going to do one more. Because I want to do one more. I did. So what we've done so far is we did this one on the Chalk Couture hardcover notebook. And then we did this on the red notebook from Amazon. That doesn't look really red in the video. It's a cranberry kind of color. It's not a true red. And then we've got this one. And I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do a green because I want you all to see what the chalk paste looks like on this green. That's the back. And I want to do something in the nominee because I want to see what nominee looks like on this green. And I want to do something that's not Christmas, but just winter. And I like this with the bird. I took this bird and put it on an acrylic ornament last year and really, really liked that. So we're going to do that really quickly. And I am going to fuzz this even though, one, there's a lot of negative space, so it's not very sticky. And two, I've used it a couple of times, so it's not very sticky anymore. But just to be on the safe side, we're going to fuzz it. And a lot of times I will use my fingers to measure, like knuckle to knuckle, and do I feel fairly even? And then we're going to use a little bit of transfer tape. If I can find where that roll starts. Right here, because where the bird's tail ends is very close to where I cut the transfer off the backer sheet. And I think to make sure that I try not to get paste on the notebook, I'm going to use my multi-tool. Just do a little edge here. Now you can probably see the black. I don't know if you can see the black on the transfer. So I used Shimmer Shadow to put this design on an acrylic round ornament, and then I used the watercolor technique to paint the bird red. And so the Shimmer Shadow stained the transfer a little bit, but it is clean. I do not have any black paste still on it. So you will get some colors. Greens do it, reds do it. That will more easily stain your transfer, but it does not mean that you still have ink on it. You can feel it, or paste, you can feel it, especially the shimmers. You can feel if there's still paste on there. Every once in a while I'll wash something and dry it, and then when I pick it up when it's dry to put it back on the backer sheet, I realize I still have paste on it. Most of the time that will come off. That is why I do prefer our board erasers. That is one of those sort of product specific tools that I do recommend to people, because I do think they clean the transfers better than just a regular magic eraser. So that is in my must-have list of chalk supplies. I like the fuzzing cloths. I prefer it. You don't have to have one. A microfiber cloth or a terry cloth towel will work. And so that one to me is personal preference. And board erasers, magic erasers work. Nail tools work, nail brushes work. You have to be very gentle, but a nail brush will work. I just prefer it. Now I do not use board erasers to clean my tools, because the tools tear up the board erasers, but to clean transfers I do prefer a board eraser. Alright. Pull this transfer tape off. And then this is going to be our last one. And I'm curious to see what this nominee looks like on this green. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I love this color so much. And that is what I was hoping it would look like. That is also crooked, but that's okay. That's what I get for not really trying to measure. So there's that. One other thing that you could do is to take any sort of paper or even fabric and adhere it to the front of the notebook, and then chalk or ink, if you're using fabric, you could use ink on top of that. So if you wanted to, like on the chalk ones, I don't really like white backgrounds. So I could take some cardstock or patterned paper or some fabric and adhere it to this, and then chalk or ink on top of that with my design, or I could chalk or ink the fabric first and then adhere it to the notebook. So that is another option and a way to kind of up level these notebooks. All right, so let's get them all into the frame. This one should be dry, so I can do the back of that. All right, off. Let me get all of these into the frame. You've got all kinds of options. That you can see them all. Lift that up. I'm gonna knock my paste off. There we go. You can kind of see all of them. So that's everything. That's all of what we did today. I'm gonna come back camera. So thank you all very much for watching. I will be back next week. I don't know if it will be live or recorded, but I will be back. You'll have a new video from me next Friday. Please let me know in the comments what you think about these projects, what you would do with these designs, questions for me, suggestions. I will drop links for products in the video description. And give me a like on the video if you liked the project, and I will see you all again soon. Have a great day. Bye.